morning, Jackednnerdy fans. Welcome to my last movie review for the year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. This one's a bit of a special one. So today we are reviewing a brilliant film that's just been released on Boxing Day called One Life. Starring, obviously, the great Anthony Hopkins, the phenomenal Helen Bonham Carter. So, I don't know, you may have not seen the trailers for this film. You may have seen the trailers for this film. Basically, what this film is based on is there was a viral clip that went out over Facebook a couple of years ago it was a clip from a show on the BBC back in the 80s where they had this man on this show and they were telling the story about how he put together a team of people and they saved over 600 children from Czechoslovakia when the Nazi invasion was happening, and they rescued these 600 children and brought them over to the UK so that they were safe when the war broke out. On this BBC clip, they were telling the story, and then they asked if there was anybody in the audience who had been affected by this man and what he did. And literally everyone in the audience stood up. And the people of, so this was in the 80s. So all of these people who stood up in the audience were the children that this man rescued. Obviously, they were all grown up. They had families of their own, things like that. But basically, it was just such a touching clip. Of course, that's why it went viral. So just hearing the phenomenal story about this man and how his efforts saved over 600 children, in war-torn Czechoslovakia, that in itself was just a phenomenal story. When I saw the trailer for this movie and realised that they were making a movie based on this man and what he did, straight away I was in. I was 100% sold. But to elevate it to that next level, to make it even better, they had Anthony Hopkins and Helen Bonham Carter in it, which, just took it to a whole new level for me. So I had to go and see this film, and I cannot emphasize enough, given everything that's going on in the world today and how the world is, and with everything that's going on. I mean, I don't like to get political, but with everything that's obviously been happening in the Ukraine over the last 2 years, everything that's happening in Israel and Palestine at the moment, the timing of this film could not be more perfect in bringing people together and showing people what good can come out of such terrible circumstances. I cannot encourage enough people to go and see this film. The storytelling and the scripting is absolutely phenomenal. The acting, of course, when you've got A-list talents, as I've just mentioned, starring in this film, it's 100% based on actual events. There's no embellishments. There's no over dramatization. Basically, they kept it 100%, stuck to the facts, and told the story of what happened. It's such a touching and heartwarming story. I'll admit it, I was literally in tears through about 50% of this film, just because it's, as a father and just as a human being, the circumstances were terrible and dire. The bravery and the sacrifice was tremendous. Just what happened was phenomenal. Again, because of the nature of the story, there's very little to no visual effects whatsoever. It's just a very basic story, told through true, honest storytelling, and that's all it needed to be. at the moment, this story, this movie has an IMDb score of 7.5 out of 10. It's got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 87%. If there's not a nomination in there somewhere for Best Picture or Best Performance, no joke. I mean, I can't think of many other films this year that came out to this standard. I mean, personally, Sound of Freedom, I thought, was also up there with this. You know what? It's very tough to call, but I think there needs to at least be a nomination in there somewhere for this film. You've got other A-list talents in there. You've got Jonathan Pryce, who you would recognise from Game of Thrones. You've got Johnny Flynn, Samantha, Spiro, Lena, Olin, sorry. From top to bottom, I could not pick a single flaw in this film. You as you guys would know from my other reviews, I'm a sucker for movies based on actual real life stories, movies based on actual events. I'm a sucker for wartime movies. I like hearing stories about other people doing the impossible, or like people doing great things in bad circumstances and overcoming overwhelming odds. And no joke, this film hands down covers all of those bases. So this is not it's a feel-good film, but you're also going to be emotional. You're going to feel sad, you're going to feel all sorts of emotions, but you're also going to feel inspired. And as I said, in the world that we're in at the moment, with everything that's going on, I think it's very important that we take a moment, step back, we see these types of things to give us hope, to give us inspiration, and to hopefully inspire people to, do whatever they can, lift others up when they're down, be selfless and self-sacrificing if need be. Often, these types of opportunities don't come knocking all the time, and I think we've got to embrace them all. I heard someone say the other day, you've got to be scared first before you can become brave. I think, in times like these, you've got to be low. You've got to see these horrible things happen to inspire you to do better. And going into the new year, I think that's something that we all need inspiration to try and do better and be better people. I'm definitely going to be going into the new year with this mindset. I hope a lot of other people do too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be celebrating, having a few drinks and enjoying myself over the new year period. But the next year, 2024, is going to be a big year for many people. Let's all inspire to be better people, and aspire for change. And this movie definitely plays a role in inspiring that change. And as I said, I don't think it could have come out at a better time, right before the new year, to try and motivate people on that. So with that being said, I would encourage absolutely everyone to go out and see One Life. It's in cinemas now. The great Anthony Hopkins, is just inspiring in this role. And do yourself a favour, go out, check it out, be inspired, and we'll see you in the new year, everyone. Cheers, stay jacked and stay nerdy.